preface this whole demonstration by saying that I'm not a total traditionalist. I come from kind of the school of whatever works is okay. So you will see me do things that may not be, typically what you've been taught about watercolor.
Take quite a bit. So the way to think of this is that you are front loading all of the water that you need into the paper right from the beginning. So the change in thinking is that when you start putting the paint on the brush, you do not need so much water in the brush. Okay, this is part of the moisture management, as I call it, with this process or with any kind of watercolor painting. If you never do this process, you'll learn a lot about how to manage moisture in regular watercolor painting. I'm loading so much water up in the paper here that instead I'm going to be working with completely synthetic brushes. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to really carefully make sure that I paint around all of the stuff here, okay, including my pepper. And I get very, very cautious and make sure that we haven't crossed any lines and that I make sure that I can really see that drawing that I put on there, okay. This still has a lot of surface water on it, so I am taking paint right out of the well and going right onto the paper. In fact, it's still super, super wet, so it's going to run around all over the place here. So this is what's pretty interesting with this brush. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in and I'm going to start carving things out of this big mess that I made here. It's a little bit still surfacey wet. My pepper's not quite as wet as the other things, so I'm going to start right in there. And I'm going to start lifting some little bits and cleaning up edges. Still continues to mix and meld and create interesting combinations. I think that jar looks a little fat, so I might have to come in and cut in a little further on it. So I'm going to continue with a little more of the white here, and maybe not as heavily white, so that so what I'll do is I'll kind of thin it down so that I'm only using a little bit of it. It's easier to get a nice moist pigment load because you can't do this. You need dense, thick, creamy paint. If you have cakes of paint where you have to scrub and scrub and scrub just to get a little pigment, you won't ever get to this because you end up with a lot of water and a little bit of pigment, and then you'll just have a big blood.